What's happening, Wargamers? Welcome to another episode of the Dossier, the Marvel Crisis Protocol character review show, where we discuss all things to do with a character being right down from their model design, how it was to paint them, and then what they bring to the table. Just keep in mind that these reviews are not meant to be entirely comprehensive. They are just meant to kind of give you an idea of what the character brings to the table and encourages you to go in and maybe check out some other discussions on the characters because there's lots out there. And of course, if you want to see more content like this, be sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/AegisBrandStudios. $1 a month helps keep everything going, and basically a lot of this content can't happen without that support. So thank you so much to everyone who is a patron. And of course, thank you so much to everyone who has decided to hit that like and subscribe button to this content as well. This week, we are bringing you Nick Fury and the Howling Commandos. So this is Nick Fury Sr., Timothy Dum Dum Dugan, and Gabriel Jones. And this was a great little addition for the game, especially for S.H.I.E.L.D., just because they have a very versatile kit on what they bring. But first off, let's take a look at the model itself. So, if I can get this to focus properly here. Sorry about that. So right off the hop, we have something that's outside of Grunt, something we haven't seen, and that's multiple models on a single base here. So thankfully, they were very easy to assemble. Each character was pretty much a torso, arms, legs, head. So there wasn't really a whole lot of difficulty going on there. I can't remember. I don't think any of the pouches were their own piece here. So didn't have any too many issues with it. Now, of course, assembling it all and then painting is a lot more challenging than painting them individually. So I tend to be a little bit lazy. Oh, I'm losing focus here. I tend to be a little bit lazy. I get everything assembled and then I get them all painted up. But you will definitely have an easier time of it if you paint them before you put them onto the base, just because they'll allow you to get into the cracks and crevices behind everything here and pick up a lot more of the details. The models themselves are very easy to paint otherwise, as long as you kind of plan it out well. So yeah, everything went together really nicely. Everything was painted nicely, so no real notes on that particular front. So let's take a look at the card and what these guys bring to the table. So first off, you can see that there are 3s across the board, 5 stamina. They do flip to 6 stamina on their injured side. They are a 3-threat character, size 2 with a medium movement on a medium-sized base. So that medium movement is deceptively fast. They can really get around the board, especially once you factor in the range of their weapons. They have a really good threat range. S.H.I.E.L.D. loves them because of that. They can really play into the gunline force for that. So we got prototype weapons, which is a physical attack. It's a gainer, 4 dice at range 4 with a wild pursuit. So that's if they hit the wild, they can actually advance short towards the target character. This is their bread and butter. It's great. It gets a lot of work done, especially with another special rule that they have later on. They have an energy attack, range 3, 4 dice, 1 power grenades that does an automatic incinerate. So this one's an interesting one because the automatic incinerate is absolutely fantastic. So you really have to be willing to give up that 1 die of power for the attack as well as the 1 power cost for it. But if you take that time and you get that incinerate out there, it can get a lot of the rest of your shield kit going. Sometimes it's worth it to not have that extra attack die in order for the guaranteed condition on some things. And I mean, we've seen the 4 dice attack can still spike, can still do a lot of damage. So this is a fantastic one. If this was a wild incinerate, probably wouldn't feel so great about it, but it is an automatic incinerate at range 3, which is really solid. It just helps the rest of your team get a lot of work done. Next up, we got the Show's Over, a range 3 6 dice attack for 3 power. You get to choose your attack type, physical or energy, which in and of itself is fantastic. But then you have the Wild Poured On, which allows them to make a prototype weapons attack immediately after this Show's Over attack is done. This is so good. If you can get that wild trigger on it, I can't remember what the actual math on it is. Probably somewhere around high 50s, low 60s percent chance of getting that wild on 6 dice. But you can really put out a lot of damage with this particular attack. And if you happen to get the wild, you're also getting a power back from it. So it's almost like refunding one of those power. This is great. I have been able to win and lose games based on the value of this attack. I absolutely love it. I think this is just a great one. We have an active ability, Siblings in Arms, for 2 power. Choose another allied character within range to this character. Place this character within one of the chosen character, or place the chosen character within one of this character. And a character can only be placed by this superpower once per turn. So there's a couple things going on here. First off, this is basically Royal Decree from Medusa. It was great on Medusa. It's even better here because Fury and the Commandos have a much bigger base. So there's a lot more space that's being covered, which is really, really awesome. It's a great way of getting your shield components into place, or even if you're splashing Fury, it's a great way of getting some other characters into place, especially since you got that range 4 gainer attack, which allows you to get that extra power very early on in the game. You can get some really big pieces into a much more opportune position a lot faster. The other important note here is a character can only be placed by the superpower once per turn. So Siblings in Arms itself is not a once per turn ability. It's just you can only target a character once. So you could hop somebody and then hop Fury off that character, or vice versa, to really get a lot of space. Now that becomes very power dependent, that 4 power to do it twice in that one, and even more power if you do it multiple times. And as we've seen, he only has 2 ways of gaining power, and that's his gainer, and that's being punched, basically. So you're not going to be able to do that very often. And when you look at his next ability, like, you always want to kind of save some of that power anyway. So we got your back for 2 power. This is reactive. When an allied character is dazed or KO'd by an enemy effect after the effect is resolved, this character can use this superpower and makes a prototype weapons attack against that enemy. I mean, we love this attack on Bucky, and with Bucky it costs 3 power. With these guys, it only costs 2. Now, of course, Bucky has the rapid fire on his assault rifle, so it can really pop off and do some mean things. But again, Got Your Back is a fantastic ability. Love it. And then finally, what makes all this kit really nice is that he has stealth. So basically, you have to be within range 3 to target this character with attack. And when you pair that with a range 4 gainer attack, he can actually safely be popping off some shots without even getting within range to be attacked back, and that is not to be discounted. Like, it makes Fury and the Commandos a very difficult target to take down effectively, and a lot of fun to use as a result. So just reassessing the light here. Okay, there we go. So yeah, that is Nick Fury and the Howling Commandos, an absolutely great utility piece for Shield, where they are affiliated. It helps them quite a bit. It really assists their gun line. It really punishes other people when they get a little bit too aggressive and start taking down some of your guys, either through the either your grunts or otherwise. And it's just a really great power piece. You know, they've got some great board positioning with Siblings in Arms. Their stealth, their range. They bring a lot of really good kit to it. There's a reason why these guys are stapled to almost every Shield roster out there. It is because they are good and they work a lot. Now, the nice thing is they have a very versatile kit that's very good for splash in other places. As was already discussed, things like Siblings in Arms, anytime you have any of those large base models, this is a great way of moving this piece around or moving those other pieces around. For instance, like, you know, it's great to use Siblings in Arms to move, say, Crimson Dynamo up the board to make him into a position where he can really effectively defend the rest of your team without having to give up his own actions. It's a great way of getting, like, say, a Hulk further up the board, or any other slow-moving character that you really want to have in the thick of it a lot faster. So Fury and the Howling Commandos, really great. It's a great utility splash. Most forces affiliations will love the Siblings in Arms. Especially, and then most of them will love Got Your Back, especially when going into an attrition-based team. There is a reason why these guys tend to be a very quick target for the other player. Now, he does have a couple cards that are kind of unique to him. I'm not going to go over them in too much detail. First off, there's Over the Top, which is kind of like a reverse Face Me. Basically, this character can advance forward and then be the target of an attack from an enemy. I've never really found a good solid use for that one. I always kind of like him being a little bit further back. He's got the range for it. Never really needed it, to be honest. The other one is I believe it's called Infiltration. You can put a marker down on the board, and then I believe it's during the cleanup phase of any round, you can basically bring Fury and the Howling Commandos in within a certain range of that particular token. Again, you don't typically want them too far up the board. Simply because they are great for holding a back objective and supporting the rest of your team. Now they do still gain power in the power phase for whenever they're off the board this way, but it's not as versatile as one would hope it to be. I mean, it is a way of kind of protecting a model for a couple rounds, but then you also have to be mindful that you're basically playing 3 threat down for a couple rounds. So that is Fury and the Howling Commandos. Definitely leave your comments below. Get involved in the discussion. Let us know what you think about them and how you like to use them. And of course, we will see you next time. Happy wargaming.